I'm a 29-year-old woman, and right now, my entire family basically hates me because I slept with my sister's husband. My sister refuses to speak to me anymore. She's filing for divorce, and everyone keeps acting like I'm the only person responsible for everything falling apart. But honestly, I feel like the situation is more complicated than that. Before any of this happened, I had already noticed some questionable behavior from my brother-in-law. He's 33, and there were moments where he acted a little too flirty or emotionally attached toward me. It made me uncomfortable enough that I actually warned my sister about it beforehand. But when I tried bringing up my concerns, she completely dismissed me. She acted like I was imagining things and didn't take my warning seriously at all. After that, I honestly didn't know what else I was supposed to do. My sister works as a flight attendant, so she spends a huge amount of time away from home. Meanwhile, her husband had recently lost his job and had become really depressed. During one of her work trips, she actually asked me to spend time with him and keep him company while she was away. Even though I had already warned her about his behavior before, she still trusted both of us enough to leave him in my care. I thought maybe I could help support their marriage and help him emotionally while he was struggling. But the more time we spent together, the more emotionally close we became. Eventually, things crossed a line that never should have been crossed in the first place. One night, we had both been drinking heavily. He started venting to me about how unhappy he felt in the marriage and how distant things had become between him and my sister. He was crying, upset, and talking about how lonely he felt. I tried comforting him, and honestly, one thing led to another. We ended up sleeping together. The next morning, I woke up and immediately realized how horrible the situation was. We had both been so drunk that we literally passed out afterward. But before either of us could even process what happened, my sister came home unexpectedly. She walked in, saw us together, and completely lost it. She started screaming, crying, and hitting both of us while yelling, "How could you do this to me? We're sisters. I trusted you." She wouldn't even let me explain anything. She immediately kicked me out of the house. Since then, she refuses to speak to me at all. She's now filing for divorce, and my parents have completely taken her side. They keep saying I violated every family moral possible and destroyed the family. But honestly, I don't think it's fair to place all the blame entirely on me when their marriage already had serious problems long before I got involved. My brother-in-law was depressed, unemployed, emotionally unstable, and clearly unhappy in the relationship already. I also can't help wondering why my sister ignored my earlier warnings about his behavior toward me. And honestly, why would she leave me alone with him repeatedly after I already told her something felt off? I know what I did was wrong. I'm not pretending I'm innocent here. I absolutely feel guilty and ashamed about sleeping with my sister's husband. But at the same time, I feel like there were deeper problems in their marriage that existed long before that night happened. It feels unfair that everyone is acting like I single-handedly destroyed a perfect marriage, when clearly things were already falling apart underneath the surface. At the same time, I completely understand why my sister is furious and heartbroken. I betrayed her trust in one of the worst ways possible. I know that. I genuinely want to take responsibility for my actions and eventually make amends somehow. But I also feel like if we're ever going to repair our relationship, she needs to acknowledge that her marriage already had issues and that I wasn't the only factor involved in all this. Right now, she's blocked me everywhere. And apparently, she even posted screenshots of our final conversation online before cutting contact completely. Honestly, I know what I did sounds terrible, but part of me still feels like I'm being treated as the only villain here, while everyone ignores the bigger picture entirely. So, honestly, am I the asshole for sleeping with my sister's husband? Okay, guys, I get it. You all absolutely destroyed me in the comments, and honestly, you were right. After sitting with everything and really reflecting on my actions, I've finally realized just how badly I hurt my sister. I genuinely regret what I did. I think part of me kept trying to justify my behavior because admitting the truth was just too painful. But there really is no excuse for sleeping with my sister's husband. I was wrong, completely wrong. Last night, after reading through all the comments, I finally worked up the courage to reach out and apologize to her. I tried being completely honest and sincere, but unfortunately she refused to speak to me and ended up blocking me everywhere. Honestly, that hurt more than I expected. I know I deserve her anger, but losing my sister completely feels devastating. I want her forgiveness more than anything, and I genuinely want her back in my life someday. But at the same time, I understand I can't force her to forgive me or reconcile with me on my timeline. I've asked friends and family for advice, and most of them agree the best thing I can do right now is respect her boundaries and give her space. Since all of this happened, I've spent a lot of time reflecting on my behavior and trying to understand what's wrong with me. I've even started looking into therapy because clearly there are deeper issues that led me to make such terrible decisions. I found a few therapists online already, and I'm planning to call soon to actually start the process. I want to figure out the root of my behavior and become a better person, regardless of whether my sister ever speaks to me again. And honestly, I'm never going to stop hoping she'll eventually forgive me someday, even if it takes years. I've also reached out to mutual friends and family members, hoping maybe they could help bridge the gap between us somehow. But I understand they also need to respect her boundaries and not pressure her into talking to me. Meanwhile, my ex-brother-in-law has completely ignored every attempt I've made to contact him. Apparently, he even told my mother that I initiated everything, got him drunk, and forced myself onto him, which is absolutely not true. Hearing that honestly shattered me all over again. After everything, he threw me under the bus completely just to save himself. I was there supporting him through his depression and marriage problems for months. And now suddenly I'm the only villain in his version of the story. Looking back now, I honestly feel stupid for believing he cared about me at all. I really made myself look like a fool. These past few months have been some of the hardest months of my entire life. Saying my world has fallen apart honestly feels like an understatement. Between losing my sister, destroying my relationship with my family, and carrying this guilt every single day, I barely recognize my own life anymore. But despite all of that, I know healing and reconciliation can't be rushed. I can't demand forgiveness just because I finally realized how badly I messed up. All I can really do now is continue working on myself, continue learning from this, and try becoming someone who deserves forgiveness someday, even if I never actually receive it. Deep down, I still hope my sister eventually sees that my remorse is real and that I'm genuinely trying to change. But I also know there's a very real possibility she may never want anything to do with me ever again. And honestly, if that's what she chooses, I guess I have to accept that too. For now, all I can do is keep reflecting, keep growing, and live with the consequences of what I did. I'll update again if anything else happens. Completely in the wrong, and that my behavior was absolutely inexcusable. Honestly, I don't deserve to have her as a sister after what I did. There's not a single insult anyone here could throw at me that I haven't already said to myself 100 times. I wanted closure and needed to finally address everything so she could move forward and heal. But she also made it very clear from the beginning that she had no intention of rebuilding our relationship, built up between us over time. It was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had in my life. Emotional, uncomfortable, heartbreaking, but necessary. Definitely cut me out of her life. She told me she needed to focus on her own healing and mental well-being, and that having any kind of relationship with me would only reopen the wounds I caused. Feels that way. And I respect her decision, even if it hurts more than I can explain. To her, I admitted my mistakes, acknowledged the pain I caused, and told her how deeply sorry I truly was. I think a part of me hoped maybe there was still a chance to fix things someday. But I also know her healing journey belongs to her, not me. Learn from this experience. I finally understand how destructive my actions were and how important personal growth and self-awareness really are. Sometimes, people are still gone forever, and you just have to live with that. She asked for. I won't pressure her, guilt her, or try forcing my way back into her life. And make sure I never repeat mistakes like this again. Forgiveness, and the consequences our actions can have on the people we love most. It helped me understand just how badly I hurt her and how much damage I caused. I lost my sister, I lost the respect of the people closest to me, and I destroyed one of the most important relationships in my life. And honestly, I deserve the consequences I'm facing now.